Hello again and welcome back to KlineStudios Art Lesson 5. In the last lesson we drew our friend, the can. And there it is. Lovely. Changing the way of the line to make it three-dimensional. In this lesson we're going to draw a vase. But in order to do the vase, we are going to start the same way by creating a can, but not changing the weight of the line. So we'll start with a can. And that way, I'll show you why after we get the can. Whoop! Almost knocked something over. Anyway, here's our new piece of paper. And I'm going to start with a can. Remember we started with the oval, round and around until it showed up. Once it shows up, stop. You draw two straight sides, up and down. Once they show up, I stop, and then the oval at the bottom. Round and around until it shows up, and then stop. Now, let me get a little vase here. Ta-da! There's my vase. Now, this vase is a little fancy and has kind of a rippled effect on the top. We're going to ignore that and just make it an oval. Now, luckily, we already have our oval because it's the top of our can we just drew. And the bottom has an oval, and that's what we already have up here with our can. So why did we make the straight lines when the vase doesn't have straight lines? It curves. Well, we want to make it even on both sides. So if we start with something even like a can, that's just a straight line on both sides, it'll be easier to make this vase even on both sides and look like a real vase. So, when I look at the vase, it curves in and then out. In and then out. So I'm going to draw a straight line from side to side through my can, right across where this curves in and changes to out. Okay? Like so. I'll put the vase down for a moment so I don't knock it off. And draw a straight line across my can. It's very close to the top oval. So here's my top oval. There's the line across. Two straight lines down. Oval at the bottom. So now I'm going to draw the two curves. Here's my vase. These two curves, here and here, to the line. I'm going to stop when it hits the line. So they're very slight, like so. And again, I want to keep them light. Curves in on both sides. A backward C and a forward C. Once I have those two lines, I stop. Because then it changes. It goes from that curve in to a curve outside. Now I'm going to do that on both sides. I'm going to continue it to curve out and down. And again, light lines on top of each other. Good. Now once I do one side, I can see the distance between that curve and the line. That little space. And that makes it easier for me to do the same thing on the other side. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Alright? Okay. Now we're going to change the weight of the line to make this three-dimensional. So let's get started. Okay. Just like the can in the last lesson, each oval, I'm going to go back and forth and get shorter and shorter toward the front or the bottom of the oval and stop when it gets to the middle. And I'm going to repeat that step. Again, it's light lines on top of each other, and as they pile up, they get darker. And stop. So it should start to be coming out three-dimensionally. I'll do it one more time for the video, so I'm not sure how clear it's coming out. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, stop. Now that the top oval is coming out three-dimensionally off the page, I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom oval. Go back and forth, shorter and shorter, and stop in the middle. Stop. There I go again. I'll do this one in slow motion. Now I'm moving very slowly back and forth until I stop in the middle. Now I'm going to talk in a normal speed and go back and forth one more time, just like I did on the top, until I stop in the middle. Good. Now I should have two ovals that are starting to jump off the page. Now, just like our can, the sides of the vase, the curved parts, are in between the darkest part and the lightest part. See? Darkest part, lightest part, these sides come from the middle. So they'll be medium. So I'm going to go over them as if it's one line. Because remember, we did a curve and stopped at the line and then continued the curve on the outside. But now it's one flowing S shape. And I'm going to go over it carefully until it gets medium and stop. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Over it slowly until it gets medium and stop. Now remember, with our can from last week, we put an oval in the middle. Remember that? Because it looked flat in the middle when we covered the top and bottom ovals. I'm going to do the same with my vase, but I want that oval to touch the sides of the vase, not the side of the can we drew to create the vase. Okay? So this is going to be a wider, bigger oval, because it has to touch the curves. Once it shows up, I'm going to stop and then change the weight of the line so that the front is darker. So I'm going to go back and forth, rock back and forth, getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter until I get to the middle and stop. One or two more times will make it more exaggerated, and it should match the other ovals. However, it should be a little darker to the front because where I'm putting this oval is actually closer to you than the top oval and the bottom oval because it bulges out. So this one is going to be a little darker toward the front. Back and forth, getting shorter and shorter and shorter until I stop. And I'll go over it one more time for good measure. Slowly getting darker to the front, and then stop. There, a vase that's even on both sides and starting to look three-dimensional because I changed the weight of the line. Now there's one more thing I can do so it's not floating, is I'm going to put a table line. I'm going to separate the wall from the table in the drawing. Now it has to be above the top of the bottom oval, otherwise the vase will be teetering off the table. So I'm going to draw a light line right through above that oval. Now this line is going to be the lightest line on my whole page. And the reason is the separation of the corner separating the wall from the table is further back than even the back of my ovals. Okay. I'll see you at art lesson number 6. Bye-bye.